across Butch's chest until she hugged him tightly, pinning his upper arms. "You're going to be all right. You have to stop digging at your eyes. Come on." Still, he fought with her, with a desperate strength that was astonishing. At one point, he jerked his head back, his hard skull cracking Estelle on the cheek. She flinched and tightened her bear hug. In the distance, she heard a siren. "Hijo, run over and wave them in," she said. "Butch, hang in there now. You're going to be all right. Help is on the way." She still had no idea what the extent of his injuries could be. Struggling would make matters worse, so she settled for the tight hug, trying to hold him still. Still whispering to the boy, she turned her head and watched the progress of the big diesel EMT rig as it waddled up over the curb at the end of 8th. The ambulance left the 2-track and pursued Francisco, making its own road across the scrub-covered lot. It turned in a wide circle at the last moment. Doyle Meistis climbed out of the truck and took 2 seconds both to survey the area and watch where he stepped, taking in the undersheriff and the apparent victim. He pulled a field case out of one of the storage compartments on the side of the truck, by that time joined by his partner, Maddie Finnegan. "What do we have?" Maddie knelt by Estelle. "Oh, geez, here we go." She caught the side of the battered snake. "Butchie, we're going to help you now. You hang in there." She inclined her head and looked at Estelle. "You have a good hold?" The undersheriff nodded. "Butchie, you have to move your hands," Maddie said. "You want the sedative?" Meistis asked. "We're going to need it. Here, take his right hand." With Estelle locking his upper arms and one EMT on each lower limb, they were able to force the boy's hands down. "Butch, can you tell me what happened?" "In my eye!" The boy sobbed, finally saying something coherent. "My right eye!" "You have his arms?" Maddie asked, and when Doyle nodded, she gently took his head in both hands, gripping him on each cheek, her fingers under his ears, thumbs on the crests of his cheekbones. The eye was already discolored, and a massive flood of tears poured down his face. Butch spasmed. "Well, you have something there, old man." She turned to look at the discarded electric weed whacker. "Now that's something I haven't seen before. You were teasing the snake with that trimmer?" Butch howled something incomprehensible. "Okay, I'm going to cover that eye so you don't injure it anymore. You're going to help me do that, my man, all right?" In an instant, she'd found a large white eye cup in the bag, and with a few deft wraps had secured it over the injured eye, taping it around his head. "Gurney?" Doyle asked. "You betcha," Maddie replied. "We're going to need the belts. Nobody's going to get an IV in him the way he's bouncing around." She looked over at the snake again as she rose to her feet. "Coontail, right?" "Yes." Estelle turned so that she could see her son. "Francisco, what happened?" "We went looking for snakes," the 9-year-old said. "With a trimmer?" The western diamondback was arguably the largest, most dangerous rattler in the Southwest, doubly so because of its enormous venom supply and aggressive habits. "It kinda worked," Francisco said. "We got it cornered, and then Butch was going to cut off its head with the weed whacker. It kept striking at it." "So we've got some of that in the eye," Doyle said. "Envenomed, you think?" "Most likely," Maddie said. "We're going to want that IV, and get him on some Versed to calm him down. Butch, we're going to give you a little happy juice, all right? You're going to help us do that by trying your best to hold still." Estelle looked around for her son, who stood with his hands clasped tightly under his chin. "Hijo, get the shovel out of my car. You know where the trunk release is. Be careful when you do it." Doyle returned with the gurney while Maddie popped the IV package out of the sterile packaging. "Butch, I'm going to give you a little shot to kill the pain, all right? You just try to hold still now."